Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. What we always love to do is we love to interact with every one of you. I've never been really particularly interested in just being a talking head, but what is going on over here? The the chat is busted. What is going on over here? Like literally my chat widget is busted over here. And I have no idea what's going on, so I can't really interact apparently because I can't see what anybody is doing. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to go over here and see if I can see what you guys are doing on the other end. My apologies, because what's always really important for us is to interact, and unfortunately we cannot see what people are doing. How do I get this thing back? Can I get it back? The question is, can I get this thing to come back? And I don't really think that we can. So let me say hello to the ones that I am seeing on here. I see Joan joining us from Bakersfield. Cassie is joining us. Bill from Texas. If you would, do me a huge favor and jump into the chat. And what I'm going to have to do as well, I'm just going to have to look over on our other chat, which is making me open up two windows over here. Bear with me. Actually having to look at two different windows. And you know what? I'm just not going to be able to see what everybody is saying over here, unfortunately, unless you're on Facebook, and then I can see that. But let me see if I can actually see over here. My apologies. I didn't know that our little widget that shows me everything that everybody is saying on both platforms would allow me to see it. But you know what? It's not going to allow me to do it. Bummer. So Cassie's joining us from Portland. I can definitely see my Facebook people over here because it says something about some kind of a network change that has popped in or whatever. But anyway, it is what it is. Well, listen, everyone. Here's what we're talking about today. Over the past, really like last week, honestly, we have been talking about this, which is our coaching product launch blueprint. I'm going to actually I get some feedback going on over here. It's like, what the heck is going on over here with everything? So last week we actually started this, and really what we're doing right now is a preview for what we're actually doing with our Jumpstart coaches right now. What we're doing with our Jumpstart coaches is that we're spending June and July all focused on product launch. And when I say coaching product launches, what I'm really talking about are things like webinars, things like online courses, 10-day challenges, workshops, all of those different things. Everything kind of falls underneath what we would call a coaching product. So anything that's essentially not a one-on-one group coaching, any of those things is what we would say are coaching products. And last week I gave you a great argument for why you should be doing it. And as a matter of fact, I showed every one of you how you could actually increase your revenue, maximize your time, and make more money than what most coaches actually make inside of their coaching practice, because most haven't been taught this. This week, what I really want to focus on are really the coaching products that sell versus the coaching products that honestly they don't sell and they really never will sell. Because there's some real distinguishing markers between the coaching products that do and the ones that don't. And you know what? It has nothing to do with coaching ability. Oh, yeah, by the way, forgive me for being so informal today, but it's 80 degrees inside of here. We're like having this mini heat wave that's going on. So forgive me for my informality as far as that's concerned. But you know what? I'm just going to go like I am. You know, I could do the button up, but then I would probably be sweating profusely because we don't run the AC or anything else while we're on here so that you don't get feedback noise. So maybe that'll keep me from sweating a little, you know, as much as I was last week. So going back to what I was saying, honestly, launching coaching products, I don't believe it's rocket science. One thing that happened for me is what happened to so many coaches is that you went to school, got trained and certified, and had no clue of how to start a business, no clue of how to get clients or anything else. And what I really believe that most coaches are, I think that most coaches are probably fabulous at what they're doing. They're probably their own best kept secret. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he was talking about his business, and he was like, Man, I'm so tired of people telling me that I'm the best kept secret in our city. And he didn't do coaching or anything else. He had a completely different business. But that's what I really believe. I believe that there's a lot of coaches who are phenomenal coaches, but they don't actually know how to hang a sign for their business. And they don't really, if they are getting clients, sometimes it's in spite of what they're doing, not because of what they're doing. And I tell coaches all the time who are in our Jumpstart program, please do not try to emulate what other coaches are doing out there. Don't try to copy what they are doing, because many of them don't know what they're doing. And I don't want to call them terrible business people. What I would say is that they are untrained and they're kind of unlearned business people, like I was, because I got trained and certified as a coach and I was thousands of dollars in the hole. And then I'm like, well, how do I get a client? And I made some mistakes in the beginning. And again, I got some clients in spite of what I was doing. And then I learned. And so what the whole plan is, and because our school has a 4-word mission statement, which is proficient coaches, thriving practices, it's both sides. Because you guys will know, once you get trained and certified as a coach, launching a coaching practice is 10% the skills that you learn, and it's 90% business. And again, it's not rocket science. I think it's actually simple. Remember, I think what most coaches are doing is that they're making it really hard for people to actually work with them who actually would work with them. But because of the ways that they're talking about themselves, talking about their business, and the ways that they're putting themselves out there, they're creating their own barrier to people working with them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the difference between coaching products that do not sell, great example of it, and the kind that do. And it's going to be really simple. And what you're going to walk away with today is ways to put this into action on Tuesday. So one of my goals on Monday is I won't give you anything on Monday that you can't use on Tuesday. And if you want some real help, strategic help towards this, and you want to join other coaches who are doing it, one coach today, I'm going to end up interviewing him, because he emailed me earlier today, and he's actually putting some of the things that he's learned into practice already. Signed two clients today, and are high-end clients, not just like petty clients, 2 high-end clients. I'm going to end up bringing him on and interviewing him so that you guys can meet him and just pick his brain even on some of the stuff that he's using and everything else, because it absolutely does work. And so with no further delay, let's talk about this. Here's, first of all, where I really want to start is the coaching products that will never sell. And what are the things that will never sell? Well, listen, I'm not trying to bag on anybody right now, just so you know, I'm not bagging on any of these coaches. I've literally hidden their names and everything else, but I want to show you what coaches do all the time. It's notorious. I see it more times than I see coaching with good messaging or anything else, but coaches do this all the time, and it's actually keeping them from getting clients. Look at the way they describe who they are and what they do. My background is with my doctorate in psychology, specializing in marriage and family therapy. And after getting burnout from practicing in the mental health field for years, I became a female entrepreneur coach and wellness consultant about 5 years ago now. I'm like, okay, well, what did this have to do with psychology, marriage, and family therapy? Could we have left that out? And let's talk about what you are passionate. And, well, what does being a female entrepreneur coach actually do? How do you help people? And specifically, what is it that you help people get in their life? We don't know, but this is what coaches do all the time. Now they got somebody thinking about marriage and family therapy, and this person's burnt out and changed their career. I don't know. Another example, because they stack up, because this happens really quickly. I'm a certified life coach and career coach specializing in leadership development, professional success, and personal fulfillment. I help women in leadership regain their power in and out of the workplace. Okay, a lot of these are, what are they talking about? First of all, they say that they are a certified life and career coach, but now we're talking about leadership development, professional success, which doesn't really have a definition. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I kind of get an idea what personal fulfillment means, because that's what a lot of coaches talk about. But what they do is I help women in leadership regain their power in and out of the workplace. But I have no idea what that means. It sounds like something that would be really important, might be important to women, but does it resonate? And could you give me a little bit more definition? What does that mean? Like, what does that mean if you don't have power in the workplace? I don't understand that. Don't we all work of our own volition. Like when we get hired somewhere, it's kind of mutual. Like I get paid, but I get paid to do a particular job. So what does that mean? I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. Is that we need to make this a little bit more tangible. And so for these reasons, these people are not going to sell anything. Here's another example. Hello, everyone. I'm an INFJ with a plant addiction, a life coach in school to become a marriage and family therapist, an imperfect BPD, domestic violence, codependency, and addiction advocate. So, who is it that you help? And what do you help people get in their life? Because I don't even know. There was a lot of abbreviations in there, but I don't know what that means. I'm an energy coach and human design guide fueled by joy. And yes, I'm an overly excited introvert, self-projected projector 4-6, and I've been known to spontaneously pack up all my belongings into storage and travel on one-way tickets. I wish I was joking about these things, but I'm not joking about that. I'm not like at a certain point, like I'm tired of coaches creating barriers for people working with them. And this stuff does it. Now, I'm assuming this has to do with Enneagram. I'm assuming. But most people don't know what energy coaches are. And most people don't understand what a human design guide is. Why would you call yourself something that you have to explain and define later? We're putting too much work on people. Like people only have a limited amount of time. They come on your website, they see your post on social media, they look at what you're doing. People don't have time for nonsense. People want to see, you know what people are looking for when they go online? They're looking for people who speak their language and they're looking for what they're interested in. They're not wanting to sort through what is an energy coach and a human design guide and like what does that mean? Well, let's define this or whatever. And now the rest of the post is probably going to need to take 20 minutes to try to define something that shouldn't have taken that much time. Shouldn't require all of these brain cells. Here's another example. Hello, everyone. I'm a business coach and relationship strategist. I help women business leaders and entrepreneurs to live joyful, happy personal and professional lives in their own unique way. An entrepreneur, in their own unique way, unapologetically and on their own terms without sacrificing their goals, dreams, and ambitions. Well, I don't really know how that related to relationships exactly. And what does this mean about sacrificing goals, dreams, and ambitions? Because if somebody's an entrepreneur, aren't you actually already kind of fulfilling your dreams? And I don't know. Like I know most of the coaches who are getting into entrepreneurship that I know starting their own business, that's what they're actually already pursuing. It's kind of assumed, but I don't know because there's not enough information here. Here's another example. Hi, everyone. I'm a soul-led life coach, and I work with growth-oriented and soul-driven individuals who are ready to shift from stuck to thriving in purpose and fulfillment. Have no idea what's going on there. Here's one more, and this is a perfect example of what I see coaches say all the time. My name is blank. I'm a transformational coach. I help guide people to remove what gets in the way of them from living their best life. Live your best life. Hear it all the time. But does anybody even know what that means? And is that speaking anybody's language? And is that what most human beings are doing? Is they're waking up and they're like, you know what? I just decided I'm not really living my best life. So I want to work on that. Is there somebody who would help me live my best life? Nobody's asking that question. But coaches say it all the time. And you know what? You know why a lot of this stuff is so cliche? Because coaches actually, and some of you probably have done it as well, you've probably stolen these very lines and these cliches thinking they sound really cool. And it's actually crippling your ability to find clients. See, what we have to understand is if we looked at this, if Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and for those of you who don't know what Maslow's hierarchy of needs are, basically Maslow created this hierarchy as a pyramid of basic motivation. So when you look at this, what we really understand is that the pyramid, what you see on the bottom, the biggest portion, that base portion, is what we would really say are the most basic of basic needs. So when you look at that list, what you see is that food, sleep, and water are going to be on the bottom because they're biological and physiological needs, but so are security, health and finances. We're talking about physiological needs that actually get met first. These are the most important things that people are thinking about every day in their life. And so what we understand then is that a person's number one priority and a very close number two priority are going to be these things that are actually in the basic level. But what we have to understand in this is that basic needs are what we would say are the highest motivations, and they are also what we would understand as the most in-demand services that anybody wants in their life. Now, if you are struggling in these areas, you're probably not looking for a coach for this. What are the most in-demand services? Well, you know what? Services for feeding the hungry, food pantries, homeless shelters, all those things. You know that none of those places are out of business. You know that all of those places are thriving all the time, and they're always helping a lot of people. Why? Because they're basic needs, and they're the most basic needs that a human being has, and that's what people are going to accomplish first of all in their life. They're going to go after those things. So we can always tell that anything, any kind of a business, anything that is thriving in terms of their product and services being used, what does it do? It's addressing something that is this person's highly motivated, and they want to solve whatever it is that's going on. And so the things that we meet at the very bottom, we know that those are all, you know what? This is meeting a need, it's meeting a problem. And you know what happens is that it's really, you know what? These are very easy things to sell. You know what? Places that are even for rent, they go quick, especially in California. Not a whole lot of vacant places because there's always somebody who's looking for a place to rent or a place to buy or something like that. So we understand this really. But see what coaches are doing all the time. So most coaches are talking in vague terms about self-actualization. See, that's that top portion. And it's important, but it's less of a priority or even a problem for people. So what I'm helping you understand is that some of you have gone through this process of going after your best life, but most people are not thinking about that right now. They're not thinking about it in those terms. And I'm going to show you what terms they're actually thinking about it. But see, we're trying to, and you see where the priority is? Priority is only this little point. The main priorities is it's after this is met, after this is met, after this is met, after this is met, then you know what? We're after self-actualization. So the people talking about purpose, and all of those other things, what we just have to understand is that when they're dealing with those people, and I know some of those people, like I've dealt with people who are entrepreneurs, business owners, and I've helped them reassess their life and think about what they wanted and to really find purpose and fulfillment in their life because they did all of these things and they're like, hey, what about my legacy? What about my life purpose and everything? They're important questions, but I would say that the vast majority of people don't have a felt need unless all of those things are together. And I'm not saying that that is a small portion of people. What I am saying is that most coaches are not talking about what people's felt needs are. They're saying things like this. They're saying, I help guide people to remove what gets them in the way of living their best life. And you know what? People do not speak in those terms. That's not where most people are living. See, coaching products that sell, really, first of all, it's clear who it's for. What we saw in all this, I have no idea who any of those things are for. I saw women in leadership, entrepreneurship, different things. I have no idea what any of those people are doing and what it's for. Coaching products that sell, first of all, it's clear in seconds who this is for. Second thing, it is very clear what problem that it solves. Because what's the problem with that top portion of what we were saying a little while ago? Why is that really hard to sell? Because I don't know what the problem is. Because you're telling me I'm helping people get their best life. Well, what's the problem? Can you describe what the problem is? Because that's what people are most interested in. Every product that's sold on the planet, I shouldn't have to convince people that they need it. I shouldn't have to convince people that they're not living their best life. I shouldn't have to convince people about purpose and self-actualization, self-realization, all of those other kinds of things. And that's what most coaches are trying to do. They're trying to convince people to take something that they don't have a felt need for right now. See, coaching products that sell, the problem and solution connects with everyday life and it addresses a real pain point. And so it's a problem that the prospective client is already thinking about. This is what's really important for us to understand. It's a problem that the prospective client is highly motivated to solve. See, what we have to understand in this is that I'm not sitting there trying to convince them that they need my coaching. I'm not sitting there trying to convince them about their best life. What I am trying to do as a coach, creating a product, is that I need to do the homework on the people who this is for. I need to choose a niche. I need to know my target market and I need to know what they actually want. And I need to know in explicit terms what problems are actually functioning in their life. What are their true barriers? Those are the things that I need to talk about. And when I design a product, it better address the felt problem, the pain point that somebody has in everyday life. Think about it in your life right now. Just do an assessment right now. What is the most frustrating thing that's going on in your everyday life? And I want you to think about it in terms of broadly in your relationships. What's your number one greatest frustration? Let's talk about it. Let's even get it a little bit more tangible. What's your greatest frustration right now inside your family? What is your greatest frustration right now with your spouse, if you have one? What's your greatest frustration, or where do you think that you're failing as a mom, as a dad, as a grandparent, as a friend? What's your greatest frustration in your career right now? Your biggest pain point and what you dread, what you dislike, what you wish that you could change right now in your life. What's your greatest frustration right now with your finances? What about your time, the time that you have? What about with your health? We could go down the line of everything that's most important to you in your life. Now, if I have to come over here and talk to you about your best life, I don't think that that's going to connect. But if somebody comes on right now and they talk about something that really is a frustration in your life currently, a pain point, I'm going to have your attention. Like, I don't have to talk in a lot of detail. Like, I don't have to sell. All I got to do is talk about what you're interested in. And you know what? I've got your attention and you're there. Now, I want you to think about it like this. Let's think about it very practically. See, this person here, she may not want her best life. I don't really care about my best life, but you know what? Does your coaching help me close more business in my sales job? Why would they say that? Because you know what? Because they may not be thinking of self-actualization right here, but they may be down here. They may be thinking about security. They may be thinking about finances. They may be thinking about taking care of their family better. They may be thinking about right now that the biggest portion of their life is their career. And the fact that their career is taking a minimum of 40 hours to 50 hours a week, not counting the prep time and getting ready and how much they bring home their job and everything else. Like, this is what we need to talk about. Maybe in their mind is living my best life is that I'm closing more business. Let's talk about closing more business. Maybe will your coaching help me quit my 9-to-5? Because maybe for them, their best life isn't what you're like, generally speaking. If this person wants to quit their 9-to-5, and I have a life coach that helps someone in career transition, and I have another coach who says, well, I'm over here and I just help people live their best life. I'm going with a person for career transition because that's what I'm thinking about doing. That's the problem that I'm trying to address in my life. It's causing the greatest pain. You know, I really don't care about my best life, but will your coaching help me overcome the fear I have about quitting my job and becoming an entrepreneur? See, we've got to speak to the motivations in someone's heart. We got to go to where they're motivated, where the pain actually lives. Where does it hurt? Where's the function? And when I talk about pain, I'm not talking about people with woundedness and that they need healing and they need to see a therapist. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who need to make new decisions about their life, but they're stuck and they've got a lid in that area of their life. If I can speak to the things that they actually care about, rather than these pithy, cliche, let's quote this guru over here or whatever, and it has no, listen, there are a few people who are talking about those things. Very few. Most people that you're dealing with, the average American, The average Westerner, they're working a regular job and trying to balance family, and they got a lot of plates that they're trying to spin. And there's things that they want, and there's things that's keeping them from having it. Let's talk about the things that are in the way. Like for this guy, I don't really care about my best life, but does your coaching help me balance my life because so that I'm not exhausted every time I see the kids? Will your coaching help me increase my finances so that I can be more generous to my family? See, what we have to understand is that self-actualization might be something that a lot of coaches are trying to talk about up here, but actualizing in my life is that right now, the priority, the number one motivation in my life might be my kids, might be my job. And that is a step towards purpose in my life. Finding purpose right now. And you know what? I can combine some of those things because everything we understand is fully integrated. But if you want to actually sell your coaching services, then you've got to talk about the problems that people are actually concerned about. You've got to talk about their language. I understand some of you have went through cool processes and you've learned things, and you're an Enneagram expert and you're a Strengths Finder expert over here, and you know something about Myers-Briggs and all of these different things. I understand that. Listen, cherish that. It's amazing. Use it as a tool for your coaches, but that's not what you lead with. What you lead with is talking about what people actually want. And if you talk about what their problems are, if you talk about what they want, you don't have to sell. And it opens the door for your business. So if you want to make a product that actually sells, first of all, make it clear. Whoever sees this, whomever sees this, when they see the name of your coaching practice, when they see your webpage, it should be in seconds. They know, oh, I know who this is for, and I need to tell them about this coach who does this. That's how good your messaging should be. Second thing, make it clear for whomever sees it what problem that it solves. Because what we have to understand is that any brand in the world, any brand that's crushing it, has associated themselves with a problem. Because what we have to understand is that pain is a greater motivator than pleasure. See, your product must be connected to a tangible pain point. It can't be a wish. Some of these coaches are trying to sell wishes. Your best life, boldest version of yourself, close the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and all the cliche stuff that coaches say. Those coaches are selling nothing. The coaches who can talk about something that somebody actually wants, a tangible pain point. But one of our coaches some years ago, that she was tired of losing it as a mom with her kids. And she went through a process of actually figuring out some handles, some tools, some ways of actually dealing with that. And I don't want to give it away because I don't want to talk about what she developed in terms of her own messaging around it. But she actually connected it to a metaphor, which was a type of monster. And her whole goal was, let me help women who feel like I'm tired of losing it with my kids. Now, I don't know how many people that hit. I don't know what percentage of moms already feel like they're doing an amazing job, feel like they're knocking it out of the park with their small kids and everything else. But she spoke to that particular need. The guilt, the shame, the frustration, the trying to keep it together, all of those things that she described in great detail, talking about who her ideal client was. And you know what it did? It resonates because it's a tangible pain point. It's something that they're thinking about every day, maybe multiple times a day, maybe all the time. And it's consuming. And you know what? It gets someone's attention. Now, her branding that she came up with was really cool. That was all around this concept because she created a amazing metaphor for it that you know what? People looked at it and they said, this resonates with me. I understand. I feel the pain. You feel my pain because you've been through it. You're a mom. You've told me your story. You seem like an authority. I like you. I thank you that you're not trying to be an expert, but that you're actually meeting me on the same ground, that you can relate to me and everything else. And it's a no-brainer that they want to work with them. A couple more things is that your product should be so tangible that you don't have to explain or convince people that they need it. So if you're really nailing this thing, if you're nailing in your messaging, if you've actually chosen a really, really good product, then if you're having to explain it, if you're having to explain like all those coaches were that we went through some of their messaging a while ago, if you're having to explain what that is, if it's taking you more than like 30 seconds to explain what it is that you do, who you help, and what problems that you help people solve, what solution you help people get in their life, then it's way too long. Like you don't know what it is that you do. And even worse, those people are going to be lost. And even worse is that it's crippling your ability to be able to get clients. Here's the last thing. Last thing is that clear, simple, and specific beats clever every time. Some coaches who are trying to be clever, talking about human design, life design, all kinds of different things like that. Energy, this, all of this other stuff. Let's just talk in really simplistic terms. Let's talk in simple ways that most people talk, because you know what? Is that all great messaging, all great branding, all great marketing, all great products, it's very clear what it is that it helps people solve. I'll give you a quick example of that, and then we're done. If I said right now to each and every one of you, you know what? These batteries that I'm using on this device, they always go out at inopportune moments. I wish I had one that was reliable, that would last a really, really long time. Would you guys have like a recommendation for me of a battery that could kind of solve this problem? And you know what? Almost every one of you would say, if you've grown up in the United States, you'd probably tell me Energizer, based on the problem that I described. Unreliable battery that goes out in an inopportune time. Why? Because from when you were a little bitty kid, they showed you a bunny that pounded a drum, and it said that Energizer batteries keep going and keep going and keep going. What did they do? They associated their brand with a problem in a memorable way, and now you've made the recommendation. Now, have we ever proven it? Have we ever sat down and put all those batteries next to each other to see which one's really the best? I don't know. I've never done that. My assumption is, though, that they've solved that problem, and that's a problem that I have. So I'm going to buy something that's reliable because of that. What did they do? It was clear who it's for. It's clear what problem it solves. It's clear that it's addressing a pain point. And they don't have to sit around trying to convince me that I need it, because my problem and my pain is telling me that I need it. And you know what? It's simple. Energizer, it's associated with a specific problem. It's addressing a problem, and they don't have to convince me that I need it. Unless I don't use batteries, unless everything's plugged into the wall, then I don't really need it. We understanding, because this is the kind of products that we have to design if we're going to be really successful. Now, I'm spending the next 2 months focused on this whole plan with our Jumpstart coaches, and we're calling it the Coaching Product Launch Blueprint. We spent last week. You're not super behind, but here's the thing: is that the template that we are teaching our coaches can work for a lot of different products, and a few examples are group coaching, webinars, online courses, workshops. It really works for everything. Free, low priced, even high end coaching products that you're putting together and everything else. We're going to show you step by step. What does it take to develop a product? How does that problem intersect with the people that you are wanting to work with? Because you really need to define that niche, and you need to find something that you're passionate about, that you already know a lot about, that's already come out of some things out of your life, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to develop a product that is actually in line with my passion and the people that it's actually for. That we put everything in the same lane together. And this is what we did in the first week, is that we gave a tool and like, hey, here's a bunch of questions that you're going to walk away in your first week with probably 3 product topics that you could create a product out of. And you know what? The vehicle may be group coaching. It may be webinars. It may be online courses, maybe workshops, maybe something else. What you're going to do is that you're going to come up with what you want to build this thing around, and you're going to find the vehicle that suits it the best. And you don't have to have crazy technical ability or know anything about business, because we've created the stepping stones to help you get there. The step-by-step work, taking the guesswork out of it, and we're making it really simple. this first week. So if you're a week behind, you're not really a week behind. You could get enrolled today inside of Jumpstart and you'll have access to it immediately. What we are doing over June and July is that we are meeting on our regular Wednesday group coaching call at 5:30 p.m. It's 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. We do have the replays available within 24 hours. So last week's replay is already in there and it's available for you along with the assignment. So you have weekly tools and assignments because we're going to help you develop your strategy. And you're going to develop your ideal coaching product. You're going to understand how to develop a lead magnet, a funnel, more. We're going to show you how to craft your messaging for your website sales pages, social media, emails. And you're going to learn what it takes to build a momentum for your launch. All of this is available inside of our regular Jumpstart program. Jumpstart's $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. And this is the latest offering that we have because this is a mini course that's inside there. Because inside Jumpstart, you do get trained and certified as a coach. We make training and certification a part of it. You get live weekend boot camp. The next one's coming up in July. You're already registered for it once you enroll in Jumpstart. You also get a free listing on lifecoachmatch.com. You also get brand camp. We give you 13 hours of training just on how to develop your marketing messaging, how to do search engine optimization on your website, all of those things that we cover topically inside of there. Also, you get the Jumpstart program, which is 40 core modules on the A to Z on how do you develop your business from scratch. How do you discover your target market? How do you discover your niche? How do you attract clients? How do you sell? How do you have a weekly strategy to actually build your business, create a momentum for your business, nurture a relationship with prospective clients? How do you close a client? How do you do a sales consultation and then turn that into maybe a complimentary discovery session? And how do you close that client? We cover all of these things. Nobody's doing it for this price. Most coaching schools are charging you thousands of dollars just to get trained and certified, and all they do is give you a piece of paper that you have to figure out how to market, and with no idea of how to get a client. We've covered all of those bases. I am a multi-six-figure coach. You should know that. I've made $1 million online. It's just for you to know that. Yeah, I look like a pretty normal average Joe because I am. Started where many of you are starting, probably to the negative. I had a 400 credit score and we had lost everything. And we were in the recession of 2008 when everything finally hit rock bottom and I couldn't even afford to file for bankruptcy. It's not a hypey story or anything else. It is my story of having a wife that had major chronic illness. I was the only breadwinner and we had 2 small kids, and I had to figure out how do I take care of my family while at the same time living into purpose and leaving a mark on the planet. That's my story. I believe it's many of your stories, probably a little bit less gnarly. You guys were probably in a lot better financial condition and probably had a better credit score than I did and everything else. But all of those things equal, what I'm saying is that if you want to start this career, it's never too late. The individual that I was talking about, his name's Harvey. He's inside of our boot camp, our Jumpstart program. You know, him closing 2 clients today, high-end coaching, and he just got certified in the last 90 days. And he's crushing it. When you have somebody who's in their 70s who's doing it, it kind of takes all of your excuses away. You know, it kind of leaves us really where you're kind of like, if any of you think that you are too old or you're too afraid or you have self-doubt or whatever, you know what? We all had our thing. It's time to confront it, and it's time to live into this life. You can click the link inside the description. You can get enrolled. You can join us on Wednesday for the product lunch mini course. And again, that's going to continue to stay available inside of your student dashboard for as long as you're inside Jumpstart, and you'll have access to every one of these things. Get trained and certified and crush it in business. You don't have to do this thing alone. That's what we want to assure you, that I can't guarantee you success, but I can guarantee you that we'll give you all of the strategies and we'll walk alongside you so you don't have to do this thing alone. Now, let me jump over here and I'm going to do the best that I can to, and the chat thing is still busted over here, so I can't see what everybody is saying, but let me at least go in here and acknowledge some people that I see in here. Tawanda from Alabama. Roxana says, I need to revamp my message, and Roxana's cheering Harvey on because she knows who Harvey is. because now he's like turning into a celebrity or something like that with us. Let me go over here, and I'm going to try to not make a bunch of noise when I do it, because I'll hear myself talking if I'm not careful. Greg joining us from Washington State. Tara is joining us from Las Vegas. Laquetta is in the house. So is who else do I need to say hello to? There's Patricia from Natchez, Mississippi. I know where that is. My mom lives in Meridian. Let's see. Kimberly saying hello. New Jersey is in the house. Diane from South Carolina. Lynette joining us from Virginia. Awesome. Let's see. Becca was asking about the full plan. So, Becca, we're doing all of this particular mini course in real time. So, you've got week 1 is in there with assignment stuff, but you're not going to get everything else until we uncover it. So, we're working together through the month of June and July. Everything else that's in Jumpstart, brand camp, boot camp, all of those other things are already accessible inside of your student dashboard right now. But right now, this is a brand new mini course that we're launching, and we're working it together as we go through each week. So awesome. Hopefully that makes sense for everybody. Awesome. And everybody is just gushing over Harvey, as well they should be. Harvey, for me, is one of the most humble people and also teachable people. Like, I'm so humbled myself and honored that he's part of our program, because like, how many people want to tune in every week on a Wednesday and spend time with me when, you know, I mean, for like me, when I've got somebody who's my senior, I would say that a lot of the people that are my senior are probably like, oh, what am I going to learn from that guy or whatever. But what I've watched Harvey do with us is we've went through his website, we went through messaging, we've worked through all of those different things. We've given him more work to do, and he comes back and he owns it, and he made things so good where he was just like, well, when do you think that I'm ready? And I'm like, I think you should just go for it. Like, let's just do it and see what happens. And now he's crushing it. And so I love it, because that's the kind of person that he is. And we've got an amazing community inside of Jumpstart that's always cheering and celebrating everyone's success. Everyone, every week, works so hard to celebrate and also encourage, but also give amazing critiques, like supportive encouragement to help one another make the best product and the best messaging possible. We've just got brilliant people who have writing degrees, people from the business realm, people from therapy backgrounds. We've got like everything inside of this group. And every week, when you get to come together and listen to the celebration of stories and cheer those things on, and to also have people who bring their stuff to the table to say, hey, give me some feedback on these things. Having brilliant people who are able to look at it and give you different vantage points and perspectives dials that thing in, and it's why people are able to be really successful. So that's the other thing that you need to know, is that the greatest part, I believe, of Jumpstart is not just simply me or the actual program. It's really the people who are in there. Because right now, I would say is probably, now I know some of you were in Jumpstart in the past, and maybe you're hearing me say this, but know this: the group that is in Jumpstart right now are some of the greatest human beings and brilliant people that we've had the pleasure. And I would say is probably the best Jumpstart group. And we've been doing this for about 6 years now, but this is probably the best group that we have right now to be able to walk alongside. And I believe what's happening are lifetime relationships. People in Germany, people all over the United States, people in Canada, everywhere, that are really supportive, and they're out there trying to make the best thing that they possibly can. So thank you again for all of you who are in Jumpstart. They're even watching me on a Monday night. You're amazing. For those of you who have not gotten trained and certified as a coach, you need to click that link, get signed up, enroll, be part of it with us. And again, if you're a week behind as far as this mini course is concerned, know this, that you're not super behind. Like we're going into week 2 on Wednesday. You can log in, you can get enrolled, log in, go right into coaching product launch blueprint. You can watch last week's video and you can download the tool and you can have it together so that you're ready to go and hit the ground running with us on Wednesday. So anyway, listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.